4 years ago, I discovered that the headaches that I was having on a weekly basis were food sensitivities. And so I went on an elimination diet and was so happy when the headaches went away. In fact, I felt so good, I thought I was cured. So I started adding foods back in, and sure enough, the headaches came back. 4 years later, I'm still struggling adding foods in. I've added quite a few foods back in, but there's still quite a few things that I can't have, like beans and nuts and seeds, raw tomatoes. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about my food sensitivity journey. What I'm here to share with you is my recipes. One of the greatest blessings that has come from this is the simplifying of my dishes, like way simplifying. I used to come home from work after working all day, and I love to spend half hour, 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour in the kitchen fixing dinner. Well, that changed quickly when I could only eat rice and vegetables for dinner. Over the last 4 years, after being able to incorporate some more foods into my diet, I've come up with a few recipes that I rotate throughout my week that I really love. They are filling and satisfying. I don't feel deprived anymore, and they meet my dietary needs as well. And so I want to share some of those recipes with you. And I've already shared my pseudo-grain salad that I have for lunch every day. I shared the creamy cauliflower kale, and then I made another creamy cauliflower dish that I pour that over vegetables and grain. And today I want to share my kale taco salad. And this is a lot like my no bean taco mix that I did a little while ago, but instead of using broccoli, I'm using kale. And in this dish, I'm using raw kale and cooked kale. I love Mexican food and I love leafy greens, and I try to incorporate that Mexican flair into all different sorts of greens and other vegetables as well. So let's get on with my kale taco salad. So I'm going to start off with one onion, finely chopped, as I usually do. Now, as you can see, I don't have any oil in the bottom of my pan. I never use oil in my cooking. It's 120 calories per tablespoon of pure 100% fat. It's the highest calorie, lowest nutrient food that we consume, and it increases risk of heart disease, increases inflammation in the body, and increases weight. 120 calories per tablespoon is not a very good weight loss food, if that is your goal. Now it's starting to brown a little bit on the bottom of my pan, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in my garlic. Saute for just 30 seconds to a minute. And if your pans start to stick before it turns brown, go ahead and add your water, which I'm going to do right now. I'm going to add about a half a cup, a little less than half a cup. And that water is going to break off the browning on the bottom of the pan, and that is flavor that's going to come into your dish. Okay, from here I am going to throw in a nice big handful of chopped kale, and this is the curly leaf kale, and I'm going to do both raw and cooked in my taco salad. I'm going to cook just that little bit, and then I'm going to do a little bit of raw, and we will move over to that right now as this kale cooks. And I'm going to turn this burner down. Actually, I'm going to let it come to a boil, and then I'm going to turn it down to medium when it does that. So in my bowl here, I've got some more chopped kale, and it's finely chopped. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this is about a quarter of an avocado, and it's one that I had in the fridge, so it's just a little tiny bit brown, but it's going to be just fine. And I'm just going to dice it right here in this skin. Add that to the kale, along with about a tablespoon or two, because I do like vinegar, of apple cider vinegar. This is the Bragg's brand. It doesn't matter what kind you use, just any kind of apple cider vinegar. It's good to get the kind with the mother that's raw. Okay, and I'm going to just take my hand and I'm going to massage that kale with the oils from the avocado and that vinegar. And that's going to help to break down some of the fibers of the plant and make it easier to chew, much more tasty when you're eating raw kale. I don't like raw kale unless it's massaged good.
Normally when people massage kale, they use some kind of an oil with, maybe lemon juice or lime juice or, even vinegar. But I'm going to use the whole food fat. I'm using avocado. And what's so great about avocado is the fats in that avocado are bound to the fibers in the plant. And so you're not absorbing as much of the fat as you would if you were just using avocado oil or olive oil or coconut oil or any kind of oil. Those fats are bound to the fibers, and we all know where fiber ends up, or a lot of the fiber ends up in the toilet bowl, and so it's not absorbed into our body, into those areas that we don't want them to be absorbed. And it takes hours. It takes hours for our body to break down the oils, the fats from that whole food. Whereas if you were taking, again, free oils, there's no fibers to bind that, and so your body absorbs it very, very quickly within just a few minutes. But when it's in a whole food, you have to chew that food, and it takes hours for it to get into your body, and it's doing good things when you take it in its natural form. Also, to these greens, I'm going to go ahead and add some romaine lettuce. All right, and then to this also, I'm going to add some fresh cilantro. All right, so I took a little taste of the kale and it's nice and tender. I'm going to go ahead and add in I'm going to add in a cup of tomatoes. And these are vine-ripe tomatoes that I cooked. And then I'm going to add my seasonings, and I have 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder and 3/4 teaspoon of cumin. Love cumin. Half a teaspoon of coriander and about 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric, and another 1/4 teaspoon of chipotle seasoning, which gives it a nice kick. I like spice. Right, now I'm going to add about 1.5 cups of rice. This is just for one serving. I used a small onion and a small clove of garlic. Okay, that rice was already pre-cooked and it was cold, so I'm going to just put the lid back on there and just let that heat through, and then we'll put our salad together. All right, so our rice and cooked vegetables are done, heated through, and I'm going to go ahead and just add this to my greens and stir that all together. And then I'm going to stir in a little bit of my salad dressing, and this is a raisin vinegar dressing. I talked about it in my last taco salad recipe, I think, video. But it is just a cup of raisins and a cup of apple cider vinegar soaked, and then I blend that and add enough water to make 2 cups. And it's just a nice sweet vinegar dressing I use on my main dish salad that I have every day for lunch, and then I'll use it on other things as well, some cooked food that I want a little bit of vinegar flavor. I can't use any lemon or lime, and so the vinegar is a nice replacement for that. And then I'm going to add some sauerkraut, because I love to add that fermentation to my meals. It's always great to add that in. And I'll mix that right in as well. So here you have it, my kale taco salad. I'm going to have a little bit of a taste. This is so stinking good. In fact, we have a place here called Cafe Rio, and I love their taco salads, and this is just as good, but much healthier. Everything in it is super clean, super healthy. Something that I've discovered since dealing with food sensitivities is there are a lot of people out there who are dealing with food sensitivities, and what I'm hoping with these videos of these recipes that I can help others who have this issue. And I realize that some of the ingredients that I've used in this recipe, they may be things that you can't incorporate into your diet yet, but just make some adjustments and make it the way you can eat it. I hope you'll give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know how you like it in the comments section below. While you're down there, hit that subscribe button. I don't do a whole lot of videos, but when I do, you'll know about it. If you're interested in more whole food, plant-based, no oil, vegan recipes, you can find them on my website at healthforlifecooking.com, and you can also find them in my cookbooks, Whole Food American Favorites and Whole Food Goodness. Both of these have lots of yummy, yummy vegan, no oil, plant-based recipes. And they are spiral bound, which makes them really, really convenient when you're cooking in the kitchen. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you know anyone who's interested in gaining optimal health through plant-based nutrition, or if you know anybody with food sensitivities, please share it. Until next time, this is April with Health for Life Cooking, wishing you the very best of health for the rest of your life.